approve the August 4th regular minutes.
That's so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The only question I got in there is, wasn't this the meeting where Trina's wages were talked about a raise? It's not mentioned in the minutes.
Wasn't the action taken?
What's what?
Wasn't the action taken?
So then it doesn't even get,
It doesn't need to be, if it doesn't have an action taken. That's my understanding. They don't even have to put in second, who seconds a motion. From what I read on that statement from the state.
I mean, really, there's any discussion.
Avril's proud of that.
Yeah, it was asked.
It was asked, yeah. I
Yeah.
know that you guys,
There was no action.
yeah, you know,
Any more discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. August 11th, special budget meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make.
Any more discussion?
I guess I don't see any room, but did you, I haven't read it either. Let me read it a little bit here. Which is second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
the agenda, I have two things that changes and additions in
Yeah, but that wasn't asked to be approved. The agenda, I don't believe.
No. Okay,
it. That's why I wanted to go back to it.
Okay.
thank you.
Chris Smith called and said she's not sure if she will make it in. If she does, it won't be till around 3. So,
Okay.
this office received a letter commending Kristen on the job she does for the WIC office. I didn't realize they had sent letters out to all the commissioners, so I just wanted to make sure that was mentioned. Yesterday, the treasurer's office came, said they had a computer that was surplus, but it would go on October's, because it was too late. I don't even know who they did it. It has to go on
Who does?
the treasurer's office. But I told her to do it, so we know what's coming up. Our custodian Kim took all the applicator tests, so she will receive her license as soon as we get the license fee paid to the vendors. And then if she needs to spray weeds or whatever on the ground, she will do that. We received the reimbursement, and then yesterday we received another check from the Haber grant on election expenses, and because I could have an automatic supplement that's on the agenda, but I just wanted to know that we've so far received 2 reimbursements from our application. We're reviewing Haakon Oil's invoices. There was need to pay what we know, the invoices that we know are good. And then when we get the whole thing straightened out, we will pay the rest of it with the late payments, the end of the day and the late bills.
Like right now,
What was,
it's at least 8,000 over.
was it their mistake or ours?
Carla?
She said that she sends copies of each receipt with the statement every month.
To the highway department. We don't get anything until they are turned into us, and so I think we're gonna have them maybe sent to us, copies sent to us too, so we can keep track of what we're sending.
That's probably
I'm
good.
going to talk to her yesterday.
Feeling they might have to send out 2 checks or 2 bills to the same thing.
We ran into this with
Or just a
the hardware.
copy, yeah.
Right.
We actually get quite a few more now than we used to, just trying to keep them straight. They usually don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
And, I think this morning that I think that the state's attorney has been working on a county ordinance that they
Yes.
have talked about it in the past. And I haven't received anything yet, but he thought it was going to be either brought to the meeting or emailed to us. And, since it was this morning that he talked to me, it will have to be on next month.
Can it wait that long? Or is it gonna have to wait that long? Cause I know, wasn't he kind of in a hurry for that or not?
Yeah.
You could have a special meeting. You could have a special meeting for it, just for the event.
Because the state's attorney hasn't given us anything to approve yet.
I mean, if we did it, like either a special meeting or can we do it over the phone?
No, it has to be a special meeting. You could do a special meeting, and then the second meeting could be an October meeting, and you could actually have, if you did a special meeting within the next 2 weeks, we'd have time to publish it.
Right.
Between the 2 meetings and, but you guys can discuss that later. The other thing I want to tell you, we are beginning to receive some Corona fund reimbursements. And the other thing is library book sale. I just want to tell you, I think Sarah did an awesome job. She had it outside, that table set up, and I came over for a while and they had people lining both sides of the table. And everybody said they really liked the outdoor menu. So I just thought I want to tell you that she did such an awesome job on it. I thought it should be mentioned. And that's it, I think.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second's been made. Motion and second's been made. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Did you tell me that Sarah wanted to come up today?
Yes, she has.
Want me to go grab them?
Who?
Librarian, Sarah?
Hmm.
Kim's taking out all those hollyhocks over on this east side of the building. I'm gonna just put in some shrubs that don't grow up that big over there to make it a little easier to maintain. Hollyhocks are such a pain if you get any wind or anything, get knocked over, and that's something just a pain.
She got all the weeds cleaned out of that. I noticed that this morning. It was really nice.
One of those people with Duck Point, when are they scheduled, do you know?
What is it?
Cut point.
We called them, and they said they
Sarah?
backed up to September, and I wrote the car 2 weeks before they came.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard any more.
Haven't heard any in. Hmm.
Maybe draw them another
We will.
call.
You gonna adjust to the little situation or not? Like what I got the, got the memorandum, about what I thought. I don't know what these guys think about you in the community room.
Right. Well, if
Yeah.
you would like to speak, you sure can, and then I can answer any questions.
Okay.
Well played.
Not my first review.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to present to you guys a librarian report so you can have a little bit of an update, and I'd like to keep you guys updated as we're moving forward. So, in the last month, on August 11th, book club resumed for the first time since March. It was hosted on the courthouse lawn. It was well attended. Patrons were very excited to have it back again, and it will continue on a monthly/bi-monthly basis. August 13th, we had a library board meeting. Guidelines for the library were revisited. Based off of what other libraries across the state is doing and what our school here is doing as kids return for the year, I felt personally that it's important for our library to mirror what the school is doing to show unity within our community. So, to that end, we will continue to do and make available our services for the patrons who would like to continue to social distance. So we will continue to have curbside delivery available, Wi-Fi services, printing and copying, etc. Our computers are available to the public for use in 15-minute increments when there is a wait, because we are still just using either ends of our computers to have that distance, and then they will be sanitized between patrons. Anyone that would like to use hand sanitizer, it will be available to them, or masks. They are more than welcome to do that as well. Our guidelines are subject to change based on the ever-changing climate as we do our best to serve our community safely. And then it'll be the commissioner's established rules will be adhered to in the community room section of the library. So, to that end, children are welcome within the library, and those will be our guidelines.
On one of them, do you think it's time to open your doors?
So since that board meeting, since our board voted yes to those guidelines, then we have had one of the doors open to the community room. So.
Yep.
Where they went back to school, I think, yeah, we should have, the only other thing that I see on this is that you don't encourage social distancing. You got hand sanitizers and that, I think they should probably.
Right. And like I said, I visited with the school to ask them what are they doing? What are they doing for our children? And what does that look like? So that when we came up with this as our guideline, it is meant to mirror what they're doing so that the children have some consistency and it's clear here in the community.
Right.
So. August 15th, Friends of the Library had their annual book sale. It was hosted on the courthouse lawn following the parade. Prior to the event, many patrons eagerly donated books. Library board members spoke to the high volume of books we had this year in comparison to other years. Patrons at the sale spoke positively of it being outside instead of inside. Each year, all the books that remain are donated in Rapid City somewhere, Goodwill, Boys and Girls Club, whatnot. This year, following the sale, some of our large print books went to a local nursing home, some to local patrons who missed the sale. Many boxes were donated to the Midland Community Library for them to go through and see if there were any items that they could use for their patrons, and then the remainder went on to Rapid. Our library will be working alongside the Haakon County 4-H office to host a senior from the high school here for the Work to School program, and our two offices will share that student as they do their Work to School program, which is 1 hour a day, Monday through Thursday. So that will begin this week, actually. So that is all that I have for you.
Are you
These will be posted online for anyone that would like to see them, so that they are clear.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I don't know how far in depth you want to go with your situation, or just to say you had one. Where you want to just, like a person to come in and utilize the community room for like 6 hours and did some work, but then slept there. He did, he was just traveling. And anyway, so Sarah called, and so I come down. She didn't really know what was going on. Come down, and sheriff come down and talked to the guy, and it was all good, and he did move on, but Sarah didn't know what her boundary was with the community room. I just told her, I thought, well, if she has children in there doing the library, the same rules would go. Does that sound right? Or, somebody's got to be in control.
I guess that's the way I'd feel.
I thought that the next time she could address it herself instead of talking to me or the sheriff.
Yes, I don't have a problem with them having the sheriff come down and do a background check on somebody that's spending that much time there with the issues we have in the county right now.
Or
the city police, whichever, but to ask them to do a background check.
what I'm saying, if she's uncomfortable and then she just talks to the individual, if they don't want to move on, then yeah, bang. But I don't, she can sort it out, but I thought that would expedite it,
And this fellow's kind of sleeping in his van, is that right? Parking lot.
This gentleman happened to be living in his van. This is something he readily shared information on. He's traveling across the United States and was here for a few days. He wanted information on what services were available, where could he park, where could he get water, etc. He was not causing any problems, but it most definitely was disruptive to my day, as he was there for an extended period of time, and as Tom said, was sleeping in the community room. And so it was a annoyance more than anything. So I just was more questioning, where do we stand on that? And is that, I realized he wasn't going against any of our guidelines or whatnot. So, but he came back then a second day and was looking to stay even longer. So, like I said, it was a hindrance to me because he wanted to visit excessively. So
he'd been in Midland for a while, and it was going to be well.
I think going to the sheriff would be the way to go.
There's got to be a point where it turns into loitering and not business, or not utilizing what we were offering, I guess. Campsite.
well, and that's the reason he was in the community room,
Right.
because of air conditioning, and it was very hot days. It was
Right.
100 plus, and so that is why he was here, and he made it known that that's why he was here. So
I think go to the sheriff or the city police, either one would be appropriate, unless you guys have a different idea. But, and if it happens again,
I don't think it hurts asking for identification and do a background check on them, because you never know.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
thanks. Yeah, we'll see you.
Stephanie, I don't know if it's the right time, but I can remember it now. The sheriff talked to you about a county ordinance. Is that coming along, or how we doing?
I'm just gonna do that in my report. I'll be here.
Oh, yeah, yep.
We're good.
Yeah. Thank you. Oops.
You don't want to report those anyway, so.
So, thank you. So this is, with regard to, road closures, and this had come up before. It's been discussed between state's attorneys across the state, and there's even been discussion at the state's attorney convention, and at the AG's office, and there's pros and cons and reasons that it can be challenged. But ultimately it boils down to what the state's attorney is willing to defend. And the way I've drafted it, I've worked with the Lyman County State's Attorney. He and I have drafted very similar ordinances, and I think it's defensible. I'm willing to defend it, so I'm presenting it for your consideration for first reading, which would be next meeting.
So this has to get publicized now for the first reading next meeting?
No, it just needs to be on the agenda for next month.
So if Fred wanted this before that, we'd have to have a special meeting for this.
Before what?
It's got
October, before our October meeting.
If you want a first reading, it has to be on an agenda, yeah.
So it wouldn't like we'd have to have a special meeting if he wanted to have it, the second reading like our October meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
How many days do we need to have a special meeting? I mean, do you go out 2 days a week? Is there at least, that's what I was asking.
It's pretty straightforward. Does he have to get any input from us on, like, does he have to sign it, have signage up? Or does he just declare it closed and?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much, signage is more with the trespassing. It would be, it's related more to, a state of emergency. And
Like barricades?
barricades could be put up under this ordinance, yeah. But as far as,
And the posting of the notice.
yeah,
Not
so,
what's that included.
yeah, it could be barricades, it could be road closed, it could
Just
be,
a sign there.
yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, I mean, the county could use the county, public notification services, like the city of Wall has, notifications that come on people's phones that say this road is closed, and the county could use that. In Lyman County, they tried to tie their ordinance to their standard road closure ordinance. So the same public notification would apply for the emergency road ordinance.
Whether it's a bridge or,
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't need it.
Does it work on Highway 34?
I doubt it. They have a whole different set of rules up there.
The other ordinance that, Fred, so this, if anybody has, revisions or questions, or if you wanna, talk to constituents and give me feedback, I can make revisions before the first reading. Then Fred also asked me about an overnight parking ordinance, and, on that, there's the, opposing argument that people who are drowsy at night, that pull off on, just an approach to sleep and not become a danger to society, that could potentially penalize those people who are doing the right thing. But I feel comfortable as state's attorney would be prosecuting with law enforcement discretion, And, I just got Fred's request for that ordinance last night. So, I can work on that one. I've reached out to one other state's attorney, and he also had the same kind of concerns about the opposing arguments. But I am comfortable enforcing it with my discretion for prosecution and law enforcement discretion for ticketing for people who legitimately just need to pull over and sleep versus people who are camping out alongside the road.
I've had some acquaintances that needed to pull over before they drove all the way home, so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the next one that I'll be working on. And then I'm sure Tim, I know Fred's gone today, I'm sure Tim has information about the protest to date on behalf of Fred. He's asked me a number of questions, and of course he wanted AG back up on my opinions, and the Attorney General's office has consistently from day one bowed out.
Bowed out.
Yep. And so it's on the state's attorneys, and
Well, we're floating our own boat again, aren't we?
Yep. So I've answered all of his questions to date that I know of, with the information available and with what I'm willing to prosecute to back up. So. All right. If anybody wants to give me feedback on this.
Does the other attorney, like Prussia, does the AG give that man the same answers too?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Carla, bring Sandra up.
2 minutes or
Hey,
When I went through the policy back in June, toward the end of the renewal policy, I missed the fact that we didn't have medical payments coverage on your policy. You know, like most homeowners, they'll have your liability and non-medical payments on there. I did not have it on your policy, so I took it upon myself to put it on with 5,000 medical payments, and it's gonna be $130 a year. I'll pay this first year, because I screwed up and didn't get it on there, but then you can think about it, see if you want to keep it on there for next year. And then Steve raised the question, the policy said the courthouse building had 3 stories. It's the square footage that I had calculated was for 4 stories, but I just had a typo, had 3 in there, so
Okay.
that didn't affect anything. So. And I know you guys had some other questions that I think we've gotten answered. So did you have anything else you needed me to research?
I don't think so.
I didn't have anything anyway.
I don't think so. You never know what you got until you need it.
What's that?
I say you never know what you got with insurance until you
Well, I know,
use it.
I know.
Well, I appreciate you stretching that and you coming up.
Well,
Yeah, thank
look
you.
at this application and that medical payments option. So there's not a box check, you have to specifically request it. I don't know if it's because it's a public entity. Maybe most public entities don't carry it, I don't know. That won't show anything you've got, it's just on this application, you guys don't know. I missed it anyway, so it's on there now. Got 5,000 men pay on there, so.
Thank you.
Well, tell Dennis to get a night job now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get it over So, that was all I had, just a quick little
Perfect.
update on.
That's what we like, this quick little,
What's that?
that's what we like, the quick little.
The quick little things. No $1 million thing.
And then we'll just have to let you know by next year whether we
Yeah.
want to renew it, or just let Carla know or something.
Or not better or whatever, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it can go up by the way, chose to. But apparently, where it's so hidden in the application, I'm wondering how many commercial or public use, carry it. It may bring on more claims than you wanted or something.
Right. I've never had a claim as far as I know.
No. Anyway, that's where we're at for now. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra.
yep, see ya.
We got a Tim here. Do you want the sheriff's report, or where do you want to go, Carla?
Sheriff's report is fine, we're going to see
Oh, Lori. Missed her.
Hmm?
Yeah. Couldn't see her. She dyed her hair blonde out of season.
Okay, a couple things. One, you didn't make copies, did you, of the new LEMG for the packet? Okay, well, I don't know that we have the actual, thing. It's time, the state has sent out the requesting that, the information on the new local emergency management performance grant. That's a SLA grant that we had previously had and then chose to not participate in any longer. We just need to know, I just need to know to let my regional coordinator know whether we're going to participate this year or not.
Recommendations?
No, that we don't.
Okay.
They have made some changes, but not enough that it warrants going back to it, especially with pipeline stuff coming up and some of the other tasks that you will be, asking me to do for the county. I just don't think it's worth participating. So.
They no longer call it SLA.
No, they changed the name last year, so now it's the Local Emergency Management Performance Grant, LEMPG.
Okay.
It's the same document, the same funds, it's just a different name. Yeah. So I just need to know from you what you're wanting to do. We either need to, if you agree you want to do it again, then there's some papers we need to sign and send in. If not, then I just need to let Brent know that was your decision to not participate.
So if we don't do this, is our half your wages still covered?
That's what we did last year,
No.
which is then 5 times the paperwork if they do pay for it.
Right.
Let's just say we don't do it this year. Do you have the option down the road?
Next year, they'll ask again. It's every year they'll ask again.
Every year, good.
If we choose to do it or not. We don't lose any support, we don't lose any contact with the state. Funding is the only thing we lose, but it's not.
Is that your supervisor that was down here that we did the round table with down in the court?
Right,
So, yeah, they still come in and help
Yep.
do round tables and stuff like
Yep,
that.
he's still, like I said, we lose nothing other than that financial part of it. Any other contact, that's all the same. It doesn't affect anything else.
I think that round table was really well met. It was right to the point, got everything across. It wasn't very long, and I think the issues got covered quite well.
Thank you.
Probably.
I'm alright if we don't. I'm alright if we don't participate.
Then I am.
Probably need a motion.
I don't know.
They're not really changing anything.
No.
Well,
I'd entertain some move
a motion to do what?
to nothing, to do nothing but
Deny.
Not participate.
Participate in the LEMPG.
Any more,
I'll second it.
any more discussion? Motion's been made and seconded to deny. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The other thing I have, I was at a discussion group with several of the EMs, well, 3 other EMs in our region that are also pipeline counties. One of them there's a gentleman that does, the state is now working with a company called Blue Cell, and they do FEMA type trainings. Lyman County had Pat come in and discuss with them, their commissioners, on how an EOC is set up and what kind of is expected of you as commissioners, state's attorney, whatever, as far as when we open an EOC, how that's gonna work. I would really like to have him come in and do that presentation for us. He has penciled us in for September 21st. It's a Monday. I've not got a time. He's thinking around 1 o'clock, but I think there's some play in that. He does have to be somewhere else later in the day. I think he thought it would only take maybe 2 hours, hour and a half, maybe 2.
Is there a cost for that?
No, the state pays for it. Because they've contracted, Office of Emergency Management or Public Safety is now contracted with Blue Cell to provide this training. So it doesn't cost us anything.
Stephanie, how's that work if we go to a training like that, there's actually a quorum there, it's not a meeting?
Well, Lyman County called a special meetings, and then all the commissioners were there. There were no decisions made, it was just a discussion.
If there's any action to be taken, you're gonna need notice.
But if there is no action to be taken,
You can go to a training.
you don't need it? Okay. Because it'd be just training, it wouldn't be anything we'd be doing as far as actions. Okay, thank you.
I guess you let us know if
Well,
what day it is. Or you're asking for
I'm asking you.
for input?
I'm asking you, do you want me to set this up? I've got it tentatively penciled for the 21st, because that's as soon as he could be here. And I think it would be beneficial to all of us. And I would like all of you to be there, because I do believe I feel that strongly that it's beneficial. But I'm not gonna go forward with it if you're not.
When is our next meeting? What's the date of our next meeting? Regular meeting? October 6th. Would that give us? It would give us the 2 weeks, wouldn't it? If we had a special meeting on the 21st.
You wanted to combine, you're talking about the ordinance,
I guess I would do that. If you guys wanted to do this, do the one on the 21st, we could throw them together.
I could probably make it work.
So right now, he's thinking 1 o'clock, but I will confirm with him as to time. Does that work for you? Is 1 o'clock work better than another time?
If I can make it, I'll be there.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, well, I will talk to him and I will schedule it for 1 o'clock on that
And
Monday.
if you do get it for sure, maybe could you let Carla know so that we can do our meeting
Yeah, well,
officially too?
it's already,
It'll happen, okay.
so I will just call him and confirm, but yeah, I will make sure to let Carl know. I'll call him here in a bit and I will call him this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, I'm going to EM conference on the 14th. And I'm doing some other virtual training on the 29th and 30th. I think those are the two big things. Did we talk about it?
And that would be here in the courthouse, is that
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, we just meet here in the commissioner in this room.
Okay.
And I won't be here.
I know, you said that. Because you think you need to have a vacation. Okay. Yeah. Yep, okay. I think that would be wise.
You said it would be like 2 hours?
Yeah, I think that would be hour and a half, 2 at the most. As far as COVID stuff, I don't really have anything. As far as pipeline stuff, I don't have anything.
That's positive.
I think that's all. I think that's all I've got. I'll think of 12 things when I walk out the door, and I'll be like,
Right.
I'll write them on a note.
So you haven't had any emergencies then?
No, we haven't had anything yet. Not that I've been called to, so. The sheriff's office is taking care of anything that we have had, so they haven't needed to go any farther than that. So. You guys have any questions for me?
No, I shouldn't.
No,
I think I should do it, shouldn't it? That sounds good.
Okay, I will go call Pat and see what, firm that up, and then I'll let you know. Alright, thank you.
See ya.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
Two o'clock.
An awful lot more. Biggest thing Fred was, I think Stephanie's already pretty well covered it on the roads.
see that in that.
What's that?
The resolution.
Yep. I think he was just kind of hoping to get the first reading, get that kind of moved along as soon as possible. And same thing, like she talked about, you want the overnight parking in the right of way. I don't know, we were thinking it's, I don't know if we can really enforce that a lot on state highways, but we're hoping at least on our roads, we at least have no parking overnight anyway. Kind of keeps people from camping overnight. Not too much trouble, but now we've got deer season, whatever, a lot of hunting season's coming up. Add more to it maybe, but just kind of keep people at least moving on overnight. And I think he kind of wanted to revisit the burn ban. Yes, I don't know. As with all the fuel and stuff, I think we're kind of geared more towards open campfires, that kind of thing. So that's what we're concerned with. And right now, we kind of follow the national grasslands where they put in. I think once it gets to a street, yeah, then becomes where like fire pits, burning barrels, whatever has to be covered. Like I said, I think he was more concerned about campfires, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's something.
Well, I think if I remember right, maybe Stephanie remembers, we already did a resolution that the permanent ban that goes into effect automatically.
It's tied to the weather though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Extreme.
To go into place.
Tightened fire index rating.
And we're not there yet, I suppose.
No,
We're very.
We are there. So it is in effect then.
there are days that we're in extreme danger.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, I know they have a warning out for tomorrow.
And that kind of fluctuates, goes up and down, like that with the weather.
So it's okay today, but not tomorrow?
Good chance, yes. I mean, I think we're already pretty well there, but yes, tomorrow with the temperature, they're already calling for it.
And the other thing that I think does affect that to some degree is the wind. You know, how much wind we have.
The wind, the humidity, the relative humidity, the temperature.
But I mean, if we have high winds, then a lot of
Yeah,
times
that
put
all
that
goes
in
into that
effect,
calculation.
even if the relative humidity's down, so.
But if we feel like the public needs a refresher, I don't think it would hurt to publish our warnings again
Yeah.
when we're on the edge there.
We try to put it on our Facebook.
That's a good idea.
Or anything else, so far the protesters have all been basically compliant. You know, they begrudgingly at times, but they do what we ask. We haven't made any threats towards them, they haven't made any threats towards us, so everybody's getting along. And like I said, the biggest one was 28 people. That wasn't an announced one, so we had plenty of help. You know, even last Fridays where there was only 7 people showed up, just kind of a pop protest. Why HP's hear about it, so they float our way. You know, they usually stop in. We may not see them, but they'll stop in the office afterwards. So they know what's going on. They pay attention. So
At least you got backup.
yeah, no, we've been good. The first one around, there was only 12, 14 people, and we had almost that many troopers on our way. I think they had no idea what to expect. So, but we've had several discussions since then to kind of lay back. If we can't handle it, you're close enough. You know. Like I said, even the one a week ago Monday, they were, you know, at the pipe yard. That was announced. There was 28 people, and then 28 people cover a lot of ground because there's only 1 or 2 in each vehicle. But they were.
Where do they park when they do that?
We gave them parking in the right of way on the highway. You know, not on the highway shoulder, but down in the ditch. We let them park down there. That's it.
Keep them off the road.
They've been pretty good. Kind of give their 3 warnings when they need to move on. They do. They just take, you know, like I said, it's begrudgingly, but they do it. I said they've never made threats to us.
Are they mostly South Dakota residents or
I think
local
just about
residents?
every one of these in this grassroots collective is for the most part, it's based out of Eagle Butte, and a lot of the plates came out of Eagle Butte. I mean, there's some odds and ends from here and there, but they have their ACLU representative on site. They have a police liaison that's the only person we get to deal with. And they even yell at their own people. They're not allowed to talk to us either. Only the police liaison. So they, as I said, they're compliant, just begrudgingly at times, but it's gone long. We've been doing fine. If we can keep doing like this, we're gonna be in very good shape. But that said, we do have the bus up, making sure it's ready to roll. Got a couple tires that keep going low, things like that. Cage is all in it, things like that are all ready. And that's where Fred is. He's in Rapid. I meet him today, and I think part of what they're going to touch on is the blue cell thing, like what kind of has been discussed before. We had a meeting over Skype here a while back. And they touched on it a little bit, but just barely. This would be in person, so hopefully people on site, they can ask more questions and see what that's gonna entail. Because the state's already hired this group. It's just a matter of implementing it when it's time.
So the state had hired them, so it's mainly for this project then?
Pretty much. If there's any big event happen, hopefully it helps streamline things a little bit. But that's kind of a professional ICS team, I guess. And Fred's had all the correspondence and all that. I haven't paid much attention to it. I haven't gotten much information on that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the state's already got one in the works, so that's kind of I think they're kind of geared more for the highway patrol. That's kind of how they're gonna do law enforcement everywhere, but the highway patrol's been coming to us more talking about it than anybody else. And I think the highway patrol might even be setting up some electrical outlets and stuff out at the DOT. All along, that's kind of been their plan. They have that as their place to go back to, kind of their home base. That's it. Everybody keeps going like we're doing, I think we're gonna be fine, but hopefully it keeps going like it is.
Well, you're a calming influence.
Yeah, we're trying.
No, you.
Yeah. I haven't run anybody over. I squawked about a little bit at the first one, but I didn't run anybody over. There was nobody in the chair I came close to. No. And even the guy at the gate, out at the work camp, he's been through an awful lot in military career and it's stuff. He doesn't get rattled. You know, they were trying to get on, he pushed them back and they stayed back, you know. He didn't make any threats either, but he told them this was the line and they obeyed it after that. So.
Was he outside or inside?
He was inside. They've got their fence, you know, they've got their guard shack back quite a ways, and they had all the fence that's right at the highway tore out so they could pave that a little bit. So there is no fence right at the highway anymore, or no gate. That's all been tore out. So, and they have no idea if that's going back up or not. I'm assuming it is, but the good fence is back another yard or so. I'm assuming that's where we're gonna have our checkpoint because there's a little guard shack and stuff back there. So that's where they have their checkpoint to check IDs and who can come and who can go. So. But I think here, as soon as the camp gets turned over from the construction phase, there'll be a new group of people coming in to do security. So that we're assuming is here in the next couple of weeks. But that keeps getting pushed back 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. So. We got a 4-page court docket. We're a lot of civil cases coming around this time around too, but nobody in jail, so I'm calling anyway right now, but so everything's, other than that, not a lot. I mean, Fred's kind of talked about it plenty, that this is kind of mostly what he's thinking about is being prepared for whatever comes with the pipeline. Yeah, that's all I got.
Is that docket gonna get smaller?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
No.
I really don't think so. I don't see law enforcement, any of it, going the other way anytime soon. I really don't. You know, with that 4-page docket, in real life, there's only 8 or so candidates on that, so it's not, each one may have 2 or 3 or 4 different cases. But,
I see.
yeah, I cannot imagine. With the COVID thing, I mean, the jail, we just haven't had that many people that go to jail because they don't want them coming and going, so we've been bonded out or whatever. So, yeah, that part's saved us a little bit of money, a little bit of mileage, that kind of things. Like I said, the highway patrol's been really good about it. They're there, but they're letting us handle things.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you think, you talked about the DOT site, would they pull in trailer or something there then? Is that what you're?
I think that's what they're thinking, they'll have a command trailer there. I don't know, at one time they were talking about setting up a bunch of camping unit, campers, just to have a place for them to sleep, eat, whatever, but I don't know if the DOT, I mean, they got their big pile of gravel and all that. DOT said, well, we've gotta do that, we've got a lot of things we gotta do before they can move in their stuff, so how fast that will happen, I don't know. I think probably what will happen first will just be a command trailer of some kind. That's kind of what I'm hearing. That just came around here in the last few days. Like I said, the thing about having an actual sleep day station and stuff, that was months ago that they were talking about bringing in 50 campers or whatever they were going to bring in. And they still said that they're still reserving rooms for us at the work camp if we've got people that need, place to sleep, place to eat and all that. They've got a set price for all that. They'll still charge us for us, but it's a pretty good deal, a lot cheaper than a motel.
Just a bed,
Bed and dining room, basically.
otherwise couldn't find one.
Yeah. Like I said, they will have, there'll be room and board, there'll be food available also. So hopefully we don't ever get there, but. Not very exciting, but I think that's all I got.
Thank you,
Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Thanks,
See
Tim.
you. Thanks.
What do you think, Carla?
If you wanna move down to, and do some of the, you need to press the pay from the general fund to the emergency management fund. I have a grant reimbursement we'd like to return to the election. It would be number 3 and 4. Number 2, courthouse roof repair replacement discussion. I believe when we talked to them, they said it's for like a year out, to get on the schedule. I didn't know if you wanted, we've got in the budget for next year to repair the roof. I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and contact them and see what they had for schedule, where they maybe could come. Or if you wanna wait till the. We do, and we have to do that, but that's what I said, I don't know if you wanted to go ahead and get set up to do so, or if you wanna wait till the end of the year and then do it in next year. How do we? The tech training, Amanda did talk to them.
He just keeps saying that it's gonna come in August, and then he said it's gonna come in September, he said he called 2 weeks ahead of time, and it was 2 weeks before September, and I talked to him, so, and I still haven't heard anything. Our grants are good through, December and February, so I put 22,000 towards that. So, I'm like, well, I'll call him again, and then I guess I'll have to write an extension letter if he doesn't. I did notice that yesterday when I was out there, there's a part of the front step that's kind of loose and cracked away, so.
The front stem, yeah, it's starting to move quite a bit.
It's just loose, isn't it?
Like those little tiles, there's a section like that thing that's kind of broke away and it's kind of shifty a little bit, so. I hate for that to get ruined.
You know what?
So, I'll try to call him again, but.
I guess as far as the bidding and stuff goes, we could do that if you. On the road? Yeah. We could, I mean, it's up to you guys, but we could do it whenever, I guess. We wouldn't have to wait till after the first year. We could, it doesn't matter to me.
Wait that long and they might get it done next year.
Yeah.
It's on the budget for 2021, right? So.
Maybe start looking into their schedules or what their timeout is.
What about bids?
Do we just should let them?
We could wait till December, give the
Right.
board to, I just wanna know what you had in mind so we could set it up if we needed to.
Think it'd be beneficial to do it before December.
That's what I was just thinking, if you let bids in December and
That's
you
what
have to wait,
I'm
then
worried about, but I wasn't
it's
sure
just
what
like
you
the
did.
situation as we are now.
You let the bids now, and could possibly be a year, they'd have still have time to do it this summer.
I'd say we should set it up beautiful, like November, December anyway.
For the bids?
Yeah.
I agree.
So, should we have her put it on the agenda in November?
Sure. So do the bids next, in October, put out bids or whatever, and then open bids in November.
There you go.
Is that what, that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion,
Do we have to have,
or do we
Have to have a motion.
okay, just put it on the agenda?
Yep, not till October, we'll make the motion.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, number 3, approval to transfer cash, the emergency management fund, needs to have the cash that is budgeted transferred into it. I just need a motion and a second for this one. The amount is $33,169.
This was budgeted for the year.
I'm putting it for 2020. We do every year because they don't have the cash coming in to cover their expenses.
They haven't had any transferred in all year. How they paid her.
Money from last year carried over. Usually the transfer's done in July and August, and then the money transfer carries over until the next year to the same time period.
I guess I'd make a motion to transfer it.
Is there a second?
So,
Motion's been made and seconded to transfer the cash. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We received reimbursements from the election pilot grant, the state has, and we'd like to return that to our election budget. The amount is $1,290.40.
Amount is how much?
$1,290.40. The amount on your agenda is incorrect because we received another reimbursement yesterday.
So it was 1,290.
$1,290.40.
I was gonna wonder about that too.
And that was separate from the other.
That's right. From the COLA. Yeah, the COLA. This is strictly for election expenses.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We received the coroner's bill and I put a copy of the budget in just to let you know where we were at there. And also the court appointed attorney is over. At some point in time, we might have to supplement it. I think the coroner's budget would be all right for contingency used at the end of the year, according to the credit history, it goes up.
How deep is it? Looked at it once.
There you go, right here. 2,118
Oh, got it.
in the hole. Is that what it is?
The court budget attorney is, yeah. Our coroner's budget will be $352.90.
That's just kind of a rare thing that's ever been over.
I know.
It's kind of odd.
I had very few. I know,
Nothing to do with the court.
We're talking about the coroner. But
Yep.
Anyway, we just wanted to let you know where they were at. Number 6, last year in March, the 8th grade, then 8th grade class had a t-shirt quote raffle of food, and then we'll shut down. They were gonna have drawings, that didn't happen. So they held it over till this fall, and they are selling tickets. The drawing will be held at homecoming. I just wanted you guys to be aware of what had happened, so that if you're about them selling raffle tickets, that's why. Number 1, 2020-21 evaluation. In May, we received evaluation sheets, and we set up our budget. Our budget was based on evaluations from those. Sent them to the schools and the city of Dalton County in August, 25th of August. We received a certified list from the state, and when we received the certified list, we have to go back and compare the figures. They didn't match, and so got hold of the state, talked to her. Later that afternoon, she brought me a different list with the correct figures, the ones that matched the state. So we had to go back through and review everything to make sure that our growth was right. We had to resend it to the other entities to be sure and receive their growth, to make sure that was all correct. Luckily, we were okay. We didn't have to change anything on our budget sheets on the resolution, but I just wanted you to know that the values did change. The ones I received in May were $348,505 higher than the ones certified figures that I got from the state.
It was that much higher?
Yes, I don't know if there was something that had to be removed, or we've been working on.
Did that
figures.
that affect the cities mostly?
It did not,
Didn't?
luckily.
Okay.
Growth.
With the utilities right now.
Yeah.
To be a
But the valuations, yeah.
Also,
But we
valuation.
were, valuations, it was, the county valuation went down. It was due to reappraisal. Like I said, I don't know why or what happened, but it did change.
Does Rose know?
Yes, she brought me the correct charts, and that the afternoon that I got the state certified. I don't know why there was a discrepancy or why we received them.
Why we received one and they received
Yeah,
another?
I haven't had time to talk to anybody about it, but. I know. And all the time I've been here, this is the first time this has happened. I don't know what happened. The previous director for 7.5 years didn't have this. I know Kathy worked with the other one, but I remember nothing like this happened. They should both be the same when they're sent out. I don't know what happened here.
Can we bring her in and find out?
Yeah.
Rose has come up here and had to come in and explain something to us when Carla, or when you sent, I suppose it's the valuations to the state, and then you sent her the information. The figures weren't the same when we went through it with our budget.
Well,
And then that later on, then you sent her the right ones, and we're wondering how you can send two different sets out, one to the state and one to the auditor.
I sent them back what did I say, the 7th of May, so,
And I received them, but I had no way of knowing that what the state got was different from what I got until they sent me the certified copy. And that was what I was wondering why.
I can go get the email with the different ones on it, or, and look it up and show you.
And I don't know that much, when you send them to the state, you just send them to the auditor right then?
Yep.
At the same time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe I sent them to Robin. I don't remember, I'd have to go look and see who I sent it to first, I guess. But usually I prepare it for the state and then send Robin her copy, and then probably send Carla her copy.
Well, we're wondering how it could be different.
That's,
Yeah. So
look real quick.
Yeah, pass me down, send it. Some of this stuff up here.
They look like W's to me.
That way down workshop, they said just take one at a time. The last song that way.
Nick, I had a phone call. So we should, when Jerry comes, we should probably visit about it. I don't know if he called him or not, but he called me.
Okay.
So, just so I don't forget. Renovations, county travel. Christmas, not maybe gonna make it, huh?
Said maybe 3.
What would you want to discuss?
I never knew.
Say, Stephanie, see what I found? My glasses. For a little while. I went on my birthday, I went golfing and I left it in the golf cart. So I was missing them for about 2 weeks.
How was the birthday party?
It was good. Yeah. I even golfed about 6 holes with my wife, so that was fun too. I didn't golf very well, but it's fun.
Did you get behind on your recreational reading while they were gone?
Well, I had to borrow some other people's glasses. Yeah.
It was birthday present in Rose's office for you.
I did find these, I was glad. I can't hardly read it all anymore.
I don't think there's anyone else in Haakon County that has a pair like it.
Where'd you find those? Antique Roadshow?
They're not actually old, but I found them online. No. Actually, a friend of mine, Ed Briggs, is the first person I ever saw with these.
Oh. Ed did?
I think he broke his right away, though, never got any more. It's lost on his own. But I remember we were in a restaurant, and the first time I ever saw him, and we were gonna order, and there was a bunch of us, and he went like this. And the waitress said, "Oh my God, you just tore your glasses in half." He got all excited, Never seen him before.
I did send it to Robin first, and that was, I sent Carla's at 9:24. But I also sent her a revised version at 11:23, telling her that I'd missed something on a parcel, and this was the updated version, which I also updated with Robin.
And to look at that, I figured I got ordered the unequalized values.
And I printed out the equalized, but I can go print out the unequalized.
No, I got the unequalized, I never got the equalized, and I think that's where the mistake was.
I sent you both kinds, and I can go print it off the email I sent
did
you.
not get them.
Okay, let me go print it.
I'll show you what I got.
We can multitask.
Okay, good.
Not my fault.
I don't know what they wanna do with them. Tuck them, or, yeah, in the bag. Yeah, I'm good, I think.
Yeah.
And, would you come here, please? Yeah, just throw it on there. Just cut some card if they didn't have anything.
Okay. Yep.
Let me read it and stamp it. Yeah, got me again.
Here's one of them, but this is to Billy Parsons. But I don't know if Mickey's is in here. Just keep an eye out for it, I guess.
Yeah, watch for it.
Did one go out to Mickey Daly? It did, okay. He should have received it then, huh? Mickey, okay.
We don't write up those. Okay.
So, this is the copy of the email that was sent, and this is the non-equalized values that were taken off of that email, which shows that both forms were sent. And if she's talking about what I gave her last Tuesday, Wednesday, all she would have had to done was ask me, and I would have ran them off.
No, I didn't know until I got what I got from, when I got from the city.
Yeah, but usually,
But I didn't know until I got the state certified ones that they were different. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
But I did not get the ones that they gave me.
Nope.
This is what I got. And I put to equalize, but, and it says equalize, but they're not the same figures.
the first ones I gave you that you had that day were incorrect, and then I sent you a second email with the corrected.
June 7th at 9:24.
Those unequalized values. And so I didn't know that the equalized ones were changed. I'm sorry, it's probably part of my fault too.
Because I printed the first one, which was, well, they do say none, so maybe that is it, I have to move the difference.
Yeah, that's what I got was those, I mean, I can see on the email.
Right.
So I never got
Okay.
a copy of the correct figures or equalized. Yeah.
Unequalized.
Sure. I just didn't know what happened. when-
I just grabbed the same file twice,
Right,
even though I
yeah.
thought I was grabbing the right ones.
Yeah, so they're both unequalized.
Yep.
So it's, anybody else wanna look at this?
And the copy I gave you the other day was the equalized version.
The correct ones, right?
Yeah, and it matched the one I got from the state, so that.
So when we do our budget, we use those numbers that you send her, we send it into the state, then the state checked it, it didn't
Which aren't
match.
certified until we get that letter from the state.
Exactly. And
Right.
the values I used in May are what I used for the budget figure.
Right.
So it's
Right.
Right.
And then county actually went down in assessed values, is that what?
the county itself went up in assessed value, but the utilities dropped us down because there was a drop in utilities. The state assesses the utilities.
Well, it's like telephone towers. I have no idea if I'm supposed to be assessing them or not. In Jackson County, I assessed everything that was AT&T, but I didn't assess whatever was Verizon. In Haakon County, I have no idea which ones I'm supposed to be assessing or not.
And I just know that we get the utility values from the state.
Right.
Certified values.
But that's, like I said, if I'm supposed to be assessing part of them, then we're not getting any of those values. And they're on the most part, a lot of those towers run, $30,000 to $85,000. But
Did you find out?
I've been trying to ask, but nobody's, I can try Wendy and ask her, but. Cause like I said, in Jackson County, all the AT&T towers are assessed, but the Verizon ones aren't.
There you go, that file's pretty.
Because they file the paperwork to do the centrally assessed, whereas AT&T never.
So do you know how many here are with
Have no clue. I mean, I think it's AT&T that I got the paperwork for the last 3 new towers they put up, or adding stuff to them.
find out?
But there again, as far as AT&T, I don't know, unless like I said, I can try Wendy and see if she can tell me, but Vicky always had a list and that I went by, so.
Wizard type of ground.
Well, and a lot of it's their height is where the value comes in. But those little sheds, those little sheds are expensive. So you want me to do the rest of my stuff now, or do you want me to wait?
If they want.
Yes. I'm pedaling along.
Okay. My first one is, there again, Harry quoted us a cost of $1,500 to add the new soil table to the GIS. And I don't know that if it's something he'll work on this year or next year. So I don't know if it's an expense that would have to be added to the current budget, or if it's, a 2021 budget thing that I need to add to my budget that I turned in.
Is it to do the GIS update?
To add the extra 90-some soils, yeah.
You know, what approximate cost of it then?
He said about 1,500 is what he was were gonna charge.
So you wanna know whether you want it in this year's budget or next year's budget?
Right, I don't know, there again, that's what I'm saying, if he don't get to it this year, then if it's done next year, I'd like to add it to my next year's budget. If it's done this year, we're gonna have to supplement, so, or do you just let it go and supplement next year when it actually happens?
You guys think,
On this one.
roll it over to next year?
We'll find out, yeah, what he can, we'll just do it next year. That's the way it works. If not, we'll have to do it this year.
I would try to roll it into next year.
Because I mean, for where I'm not gonna adapt that soil table
Gosh,
for 2021.
Or just make a note of it, that we know it's coming, I mean, supplement it when it gets here, I mean, it's all
Yeah.
state regulated and state changed the laws. And now it's all being done, so I mean, it's not like,
It probably don't matter then, does it? Cause both
I don't-
budgets have been already done, so.
Okay, and the same with kind of the 911 addressing. I'd put money away to do that, but with the COVID and some of it he would have to come here to do, so I'm guessing that updating the 911 addressing and getting my address points built in and all that, there again, might not happen this year. I don't know.
but you did put in your budget for
I
some of that.
had $4,000 in my budget to have him do it, that's what he quoted us. But I don't know if he'll get it done this year, or there again, if it needs to add that 4,000 to next year's budget to cover it.
Well, we should,
We won't, is it too late to change 2021's budget now? Probably is.
You can make changes, but we'll have to refigure everything. And it might change.
Okay.
It's up to you guys. If you can change it, it just has to be able to do the minutes, what to change.
You've already said, have you already sent it to the state?
No, I can't send it to the state, so you guys officially.
Okay. Okay.
With the change in what transpired, we were closer to where we don't have what am I trying to say? You know, when you got it straightened out with the state, then we didn't have to cut our budget because of the difference, but we're not real flush. That's what I'm trying
We're
to
still within the,
Yes.
within the percentages that they require, right?
Yeah, I
But
read
just-
that you can make changes. You can only request so many tax dollars and you're at that limit. We have to revise all the other, finances to increase our revenue to make the budget work. Unless you take your
Oh shit, more yet.
CPI.
Thanks, Nick.
You're
welcome.
tax dollars right now.
Glad I could help.
Nicholas.
So with the COVID reimbursement, we are getting money back. You can't put it into,
Oh, you ain't done either.
back into anybody's budget.
Has
But
to
it-
go back in general.
Yeah, it has to go back in the general. But you do have the money there if you supplement a budget and you have the cash to cover that supplement. If you so choose.
So, was there some bunch of that went to emergency management?
No, it all goes back in the general.
No. The money that you're asking for relief from? Huh?
Oh, for the
It went to the sheriff's department wages, what did I think?
sheriff, yeah, those were the
Yes,
acceptable.
that, the
All the,
emergency management
wages.
wages was eligible.
How did that happen to go there? Like, you know, like,
Theirs goes to the general.
Who decides where it goes? Who gets the money?
It just is in the general.
Oh.
As revenue.
Who's deciding that we're gonna cover the sheriff's wages and the emergency manager's wages?
That's the
Well,
acceptable.
When the applications come out, that was where that money could come out of, was sheriff's
Oh,
department,
wages.
emergency
Those
management.
were
So-
approved reimbursable
Right.
expenses. From
And
the
they were the
state.
only ones?
At that point in time, I believe that was all.
They were the only ones that are available?
They were approved as reimbursable expenses, but were they approved by the commission? Were they authorized by the commission to be allotted?
And also were the cameras weren't covered under that?
That was a different.
That was different. Okay.
So I think what Commissioner's asking is, was that authorized?
The plan, we were
That
directed by the
was discussed,
state
and
to work with.
pretty much that was where our discussion was.
When
At that point, that was, that when they were talking about, and that was where it could come out of either the sheriffs or the emergency managers.
Okay, but there's
I don't remember the
use
discussion.
and there's authorized allotment. And I don't recall any authorization for that
There was a
expenditure.
motion on that.
There was a motion?
There was
I said,
not.
I don't believe.
I don't believe so either.
The state directed us to work with the planning district on that.
It's the commission's budget.
state's money for reimbursement, and that's what it is.
It's reimbursement to the county, it goes into the general fund, it's the county's money. Any authorization for expenditures needs to come from the commission.
It wasn't an expenditure.
The expenditures had already been
No, the
authorized.
reimbursement went into the general fund, the expenditure was to the sheriff's budget, that is an expenditure. That needs to be authorized.
It was, all the expenditures that were sent in were authorized, approved. We have approval from the warrants. Anything that we sent in had already been approved for payment and paid. That's the only,
So up to this point, that's all the money can be used on is wages.
they have changed it now.
Yeah, they changed it because the bigger counties couldn't utilize all their funds because they got way more money. So they loosened it just like last month.
Okay, so the original question was it authorized? And apparently the answer is yes. Simple as that. Probably, I don't know if the commission would like to see the authorization to use that general fund reimbursement for the sheriff's budget.
It's not going.
Would that be kind of like a grant money when you guys get grants? I mean,
I don't remember the discussion of what we was gonna use this money for. I don't remember that discussion.
no.
No, I know what it is. I don't remember that discussion though, that we're gonna turn in the sheriff's fund and the emergency manager's fund for wages, and we're gonna get reimbursed for that. I don't remember that discussion.
Because the planning district is assisting us with the reimbursement.
They are the ones that advise us what to turn in that would meet the state requirements for reimbursement.
Commissioner, I would ask for in writing what they're referring to that you authorized the expenditure.
I can see the expenditure was paid and then this was stuff that was reimbursable from the state. I get that, but.
Yeah, no, that's just the reimbursement to the general fund.
Right.
If I were you, I would ask for in writing what action this commission took to authorize the expenditures that were made using that reimbursement money.
The reimbursement money is still in the general fund.
Except what went to the sheriff's budget, right?
Nothing went to the sheriff's budget.
Nothing has gone to anybody.
So I would say, as long as nothing's gone out, we're good. Otherwise, it needs to go to a commission.
It's in the general fund.
Yep.
Yeah. Because those wages were paid and then they're reimbursed for those wages. That reimbursement went to the general fund.
Yeah, I got
Right?
I finished 10
And more warrants.
It's my last
As
one,
long as
but I
it's
got
sitting
it.
there as revenue, full of gold.
It's just like the FEMA money when we haul gravel, all that stuff. We've already, approved all the budgets for all that stuff. So when FEMA pays us, it just rolls into the general fund. And then they'll put back
Well,
out.
for example, the auditor's office brought up the issue of my supply budget, which had gone over, even though several other elements of my budget hadn't been touched because of COVID, but my supply budget had gone over by a small amount because of COVID. And we discussed how those reimbursement funds would be available for COVID-related over, in a budget. And of course, I would like to see that money returned to my supply budget. I'm sure Rose would like to see it returned to hers. So I'll just put that out there. If we're looking at what that money is going to be applied to, I'd make a request that my supply budget be reimbursed.
Yeah, it would have to be supplemented.
Yep.
But, yeah,
Whether we approve it or not, that's second, so it's fine.
What I'm getting at is a month ago when we asked about this, you told us that money was all gone. That's what you told me on the 4th of August. As of July 31st, you used $1,080 of $125,000. According to the state.
You can only apply for $125,448.
Right.
You good with
Right.
it?
I guess.
And as of July 31st, Haakon
Confused.
County had received $1,000, and I believe it was $80, according to the state. July 31st.
Like an estimate of what our expenses would be, but that was not the actual reimbursement. So they knew
Thank
how
you
much
very
that we
much.
could request,
Yeah.
but then we didn't get that much anymore.
But even today, that there's still money there, correct?
Right now.
60-some thousand.
Yeah, we have 60, what did I think that was, 61,144, and they just submitted, like, to us right now,
Yeah.
And how much has the county received?
61,000.
And I believe the city of Phillip with its budget is looking at 115,000.
So that's what bothers me. A month ago, you told us it's gone. The 125,000 is gone.
That's
So
what will cover the wages.
Well, I get that. But who decides what we're gonna cover? That's what I don't get.
That's where we went with what the planning district requested. that
Who's
we
the
send
planning district?
Central South Dakota Planning District.
So they know what's best for our county.
That guy right there.
That was an allowable expense at the time.
The state wanted the counties to go to the Central South Dakota, or to their planning district, or to the Central South Dakota, to be able to submit reimbursable expenditures, so that we wouldn't be submitting things that weren't qualifying at that time.
Right.
But the reimbursed funds are obviously qualifying funds. So now we're talking about the reimbursement to the general fund. And I think what the commissioner is asking is A, have those been meddled with? And B, if they're going to be directed anywhere, it needs to be with this commission's approval. It doesn't matter what the enhancement district
The
says.
money is it all goes into the general fund,
Right.
and it stays there unless you, as a board,
Right.
motion, take action, motion second, however, to supplement somebody's budget, because it doesn't actually go back into the budget. It has to be done as a supplement.
Right, so you got your ideas what you want done with it, but you did bring your concern to this commission about my supply budget. And part of that reimbursement is based upon my supply budget, unless you did recoup those funds. And so I would put a request in the commission to consider reimbursing my supply
One
budget.
of the reasons the supply budget is over, because I went back, I couldn't figure out why. One of the reasons it is over is because there were two, basically invoices submitted that were the same. And so the same invoice was paid twice to your office. One was a computer printout of the supplies you ordered, and the other one was, basically the confirmation of your order. And that's partly on me, to be able to go back and.
Sure, and I appreciate you clarifying that to this commission. But just the same, my supply budget being over, I would ask that those reimbursable funds be returned to my supply budget as opposed to the central enhancement district. And yep, it's the commission's decision.
You want to supplement? Right now, your budget is fine, if not.
I know my budget's fine.
We're not supplementing anything,
Yeah, we never asked.
we never changed the budget.
No.
Okay.
But like last month, I kinda asked, over in the different places, but, she still had money in her budget, so it didn't affect me in numbers. Is that correct?
Right, the overall budget she wasn't over, so it's not a,
Yes.
The only reason I bring it, it's just like Harley's posting budget, it's over. It's just to be aware that at some point in time, we might have to use contingency at the end of the year for some of the budgets, or go ahead and supplement. So you can kind of track them with us.
And I'm not even close to contingency budget in mine. Not even close.
Well, but even when I questioned with my, Vanguard update and the remote, that's last month or whatever, you told me that, yeah, there was no money that could supplement for those because it was going to the sheriff.
No, no. she
Because I
said
asked
if-
about using
Well, that was
COVID
before the
for Harris County.
qualification, but those things were changing. Before that time, the qualifications were you were,
budgets.
and then,
Submit
but
those
after,
as a reimbursable expense because
Right.
it's qualified, but the money can go back to a supplement to your budget. The money is there, it can be used to supplement your budget if it rolls over.
Well, as far as not qualifying that part, I guess, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
But they told you they did qualify,
The central enhancement told me they would qualify,
but the money's gone.
but the money, that's.
They changed the rules halfway through.
I don't care. A month ago, they said the money's gone. Is the money gone? It's all spoken for?
Right, and so then, but the revenue's there, so you can still supplement it.
Yeah,
Right.
still
You
use
still
it
got-
for her budget.
No, I'm talking about the COVID money. Where's the rest of it going? To the sheriff's wages and
It doesn't go anywhere, it's just sitting.
what are you getting reimbursed for?
Sheriff's wages.
And emergency
Goes
management. That's where it's all gonna go.
Goes into the general fund and-
That's where it's all coming from. I don't know how you want me to state it. I get it. It goes back into the general fund. You've applied for two things. So sheriff's wages and emergency management wages, and that's it.
It's exactly the same way as we did the plumbing in this courthouse. Exactly.
I wasn't here.
So when we did the plumbing in the courthouse, FEMA was reimbursing us for all of the FEMA deals. So that didn't mean all the FEMA money that was coming back in went all back to the county highway department, because it funded the county highway department. The money's the same money, but the cash that was coming in gave us room to do the courthouse plumbing. I mean, you didn't double the county budget for the whole year because it was reimbursed because FEMA paid for their wages for that whole year.
I got my question answered.
Okay.
She used $125,000 to get reimbursed for the sheriff's wage and the
Okay.
that isn't what she used it for, that's what she applied for, because that was what you could apply for at that time.
and there's still money
And
there.
there's money in the general fund now from that
I
money.
don't care. I know that. But you could apply for other things, correct?
Not at that
Not
time.
at that time.
At what time? You tell me
Back
that
when they
day.
applied, it's just
What's
like a
that
grant.
day? June?
When was it?
Dave told me that anything after March 1st, I could have used for my computer stuff.
So that was applied for way back then, and I'll find out. I'll call the state. March 1. I fella I can talk to.
Okay, back to this. I had, my first ag adjustment stuff come in. We're working on setting up we did have to use my computer to do it all. And we're working on setting up the dates to go view it and make decisions on it all. But I would also, there again, kind of back to this, I didn't have it in my budget, but we're still talking the computer for the landowners to use if they choose to use it to do these adjustment paperwork.
And the treasurer's office is accessing one, so let's see if we can use it.
I don't
Well-
know, yeah, it might be too old. for
Well,
me.
but let's check.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not just go buy a new one if we can use that
Well,
one to get it up.
because in 2021, I'm putting one in my budget for 2022.
Right, and your help needs a new one, from what I understand.
That's what I was curious, as
Right.
far as adding a computer to my 2021 budget,
So,
so that I could maybe get it by the first of the year for the landowners to use.
Is there getting to be a long line of landowners
There
coming
will
in?
be, once they figure out what's going on.
did you ever do any checking on that with the state?
I did a little bit. I need to call them again and ask a little more questions because it's kind of confusing how
When
that's
you
all.
go out to look at the parcels, you have multiple, or just, is it within
Out of
reason?
8,589.89 acres, he's appealing 1,269 acres.
So that narrows
Within
it
60
down.
parcels.
How many parcels?
60.
60 parcels.
He figures it will take us at least 4 to 6 hours to get through it all,
Well, that'd be pretty
if we're
reasonable.
lucky. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it'd be more time consuming.
And it could be, I don't know, like I said, it's our first
Yeah.
So
attempt.
what kind of value you think it'll be different? when the value difference.
I have the state's calculations, but I gotta wait until I know, what for sure crop soils are there. And then the state gave us a calculation to take them from a crop soil to a, non-crop soil. So until I do all those calculations,
Like thin soil or alkali or, I don't know what is in that world.
yeah, no, there's 8 reasons they can appeal them.
So do you have an idea of how much what his taxes are gonna do just from that? So, what's he I mean, it's hard to contest something, you don't even know what it's gonna do. I think.
Well, maybe they called it all farm ground and it's not. I don't know that.
A lot of what he's appealing is, there again, everything is a crop soil. But a lot of it is either small acreages or, like, there's one crop soil I know that sits in the far northwest corner of his property that's on top of basically a ridge that there's no access to. And there ain't enough land there to worth cropping. It's just a little bitty corner of what he owns. There again, how you even gonna crawl up the hills to get up there? So that's what his reasoning is. If there's no access to it, then
You better add 2 hours to your trip, but it'll be faster coming
it comes
back
back
down.
down, unless there's a trail going there, we're walking.
Yeah,
Because everything's, you either stay on the trail or you don't go. So if the crop soil sits 2 miles out in the middle of the pasture, then you walk out those 2 miles if there ain't a trail going there. And that's, I don't know, I haven't looked, I'll have to look, because he said there's one crop soil that forms a perfect donut out in the middle of like 1,000 acres. So the middle of it is grass, and then it has a donut around it that says it's crop.
Probably a high point or something.
It's, I'd have to look, because I haven't yet. It'd be kind of fun to see it, or, figure out where it's at, whatever, but there again. So yeah, between all the stuff that's allowable, I mean, it was all within here, so we just have to go look.
So is somebody gonna come and go look with you?
He requested that somebody from the state come and go,
yeah,
so.
that was a
I
good
tried to
thought.
get an RCS because they swore to us they're willing to help anybody, but when I called, they're like, well, it's not our job to do your job, and I said, I'm not asking you to, I want you to come and explain to me how you figure a slope, so that I know how to make sure these slopes are right. And, yeah, I got no response. So, yeah, they're not gonna be as helpful as they thought they would be. But there again, he'll be our first one, and we'll probably learn a lot of stuff. So I'm waiting for the state to get back to me on which days work for them to come out. So he wants us up there early in the morning so that we're done before it gets hot for fire risks.
Yeah.
I know that's something that Dinesh is gonna bring up at the state convention here in a couple of weeks too. Just all those requirements, just to see what the state has to say on that.
On the ag adjustments,
Yep.
it was passed by legislation, so.
That's what we got Bob Wilcox and those guys there to explain that to.
Good enough with fast Bob.
Anyway, and then I guess, when we get that done, we'll sure get it done. And then my next question, I guess, would be on my deputy and why she was not granted a 3-month step raise. According to this, it says that she starts at 15, if she's not certified, or if she's certified, she gets 16, and after 6 months probation, she gets 17. Doesn't say she shouldn't get a 3-month step wage, but when you go down below, it says a permanent full-time deputy starts at 15, after 3 months gets 16, and after the second 3 months, which would be 6 months, is up to 17. But it doesn't say they have to pass any kind of probation period. And what my question is why are you discriminating against the DOE? If you're willing to give everybody else a step raise, why shouldn't she be allowed to get it too? Nothing here says she can't have a 3-month step raise. like everybody else.
So it doesn't say that she can, but it doesn't say she can.
It doesn't say that, it says under the deputy DOE, it does not say that she can't have the 30-month step raise.
It doesn't say it gives her a 3-month step raise either.
Right, but it gives all the other deputies a 3-month step raise, so then you're discriminating against my office and my deputy by refusing to give her that step raise.
It just says highway worker though, doesn't it?
No, you gotta go up above.
It's for permanent full-time deputies.
We just changed that one this year because of we didn't have a full-time DOE deputy.
But there again, it says hers is after probation period, but nobody else's says anything about probation periods for down here. Except for the highway department.
Are we looking at the same?
The one I
Document.
have is from April 7th.
Yeah, this says April 7th, but
Okay, so right here, it says the deputy DOE starts at 15, 16 if she's certified. And after probation in 6 months, she gets 17. But if you go down here, then it states a full-time deputy starts at 15, goes to 16 after 3 months, and 17 after 6 months. So what's the difference between a full-time deputy and a full-time DOE deputy?
First 3 letters.
Deputy?
DOE.
Well, if anything, she should be making more than the other
full-time.
deputies. She's the only one that, other than Tim, has to be certified.
She isn't certified. She's
But
in a
after 6
training
months, she
process.
will be.
Well, she's certified after 6 months.
Right, and she goes to 17 like
Right.
every, but why should she be denied the 3-month step raise?
I guess the way I read this, and I could be wrong here, is this right here, I think the way they've intended it, is all of this paragraph here is regarding the highway workers.
But there's not deputies in the
Well,
highway.
well, we did have in the office, right? I think we considered a deputy in the office there. I think when this was drawn up, you know what I mean? That's what I think, that's the way they
So where's the wage
interpreted
steps
this.
for all the other deputies and the registered deeds and treasurers? And
Well, up above there, this part here, I think is talking about the offices, don't you? Is that why I'm reading it wrong? This is regarding in the courthouse, and this is regarding the highway department, I think.
But there's no,
There was, at that time, there was a deputy in the office, that we were, I think that's what that's referring to.
Val was never a deputy.
There was never a deputy in your office? Okay, well, maybe it's misprinted here then. Because if there's not, then it's kind of confusing.
do you have a copy of this?
I don't have one with me, but
I just assumed that this, they were talking about the
Right.
highway department here.
And this is the deputies before. We had
But
we never had a
maybe it
full-time
wasn't.
deputy in the DOE ever. Which I still think that's the way it could be, but that's my opinion.
And I'm not disagreeing with the hiring in the 6 months, but like I said, it doesn't state in there that she can have that 3-month step raise. When you're offering it to all the other deputies, she should be eligible for it.
But from one end, if you give her the raise, she doesn't complete the schooling or is unable to get through it, we give her a raise for trying hard.
Well, why did you give the janitor a raise? Why would you give any other deputy a 3-month raise? Just because she has to be certified, that's not fair.
You get a 6-month raise regardless.
Oh,
Right. And I talked to Val too about the whole county stuff, because I think it should just go in there and get rid of this whole step raise stuff and just say $15 an hour till you get your CDL, and goes to 16 after that, and then after 6 months, if having a CDL, will be able to be, you know, something like that. Because right now it is a little gets. I know what I want it to mean. I mean, because I was here for all this stuff. I mean, the DOE's was different. That's why we got DOE up here. Said that. Well, down here is for all the other deputies. They're not DOE deputies, but that's the way I meant it. I know, but life isn't fair. I mean, it's not.
So
I mean,
if
everything's different.
discriminates
It's not
because
discriminating.
What do you call it? When she's denied this step raise that everybody else is eligible for.
it's different departments.
It's a different department.
Just because they're not in the same department.
Why is any other deputy entitled to a step raise at 3 months? They've
No, it's-
not done anything, they've not gotten certified, they've just been there, hopefully doing their job. Why is any other deputy entitled to a step raise at 3 months if hers is not? And that is a discriminatory question.
It wasn't meant to be anything
Well, I'm just
discriminatory.
saying,
I mean, you can take a lot of things and make something discriminatory out of it. I mean, you can
Absolutely, and
a
that's
million
not.
things. Right, but it was
So
never.
is it merit based? I'm just asking why.
To resolve this, this is just a take, but either we would add it in on the top or take it off the bottom. But, you know,
I think it should be maybe reworded a little bit, because it is confusing. I assumed that this was talking about the highway department, and this was talking about, you know,
It does contradict the handbook, because the handbook says a probation of 6 months, and then at the department head's approval, a raise.
there we go, back to the handbook.
And at the time when we changed this and put this in here was just because we added a full-time deputy of the DOE. That's how we wrote it down. Because it was never even a full-time deputy in that office until this year, mid-year, that we changed it to a full-time job. That's where that got put in there. So maybe things haven't been adjusted.
3 month step raise. That's the question.
Okay.
After 6 months. After 6 months.
Which one takes precedence, the handbook or the resolution?
I'd say resolution, because you changed the handbook by resolution.
which I think it is confusing, the way that's worded right there.
Because we added this part, didn't we?
Right. When we hired the full-time DOE, that's what we changed and added right there, and that was the only spot we changed.
No, it wasn't. We changed the stuff down here too.
What?
The sheriff's secretary stuff. We changed that too at the same time.
Yeah, because he didn't have one.
Right after the
Right.
6.
Well, it's not like it's gonna make or break the county, because I think we should at least change the wording. Cause it is, I was confused anyway when I read it. I know that. I wasn't here the day, I wasn't gone that day that we changed this. I was missing that day, and I still wouldn't have mattered. I still would have probably not caught that. So, yeah. I could just leave out the one line, couldn't you? Or I don't know how you, like you said, you could either add one line or subtract another one.
But it doesn't,
You know.
it doesn't necessarily say in what you changed in that resolution that she is not allowed the 3 month step raise. It doesn't say that. It says she starts here and at 6 months she's here. Nothing in that resolution says she shouldn't be allowed that 3 month step raise like every other deputy in the courthouse.
Yeah. It doesn't say she shouldn't.
We also don't have to send
Didn't say she-
the other ones to school or anything else for 6 or 8 months. Or 5 tests.
So
or
I think
anything
it should
else.
be reworded to make it more
Well,
clear,
that's what
you
I'm
know.
saying, because she is certified, I guess.
Is she certified now?
No.
Oh.
When she does become certified, then why, she's only making as much as every other deputy, so why shouldn't she be allowed those same raises? It's not like she's gonna make more than they're making, plus she has to maintain that certification.
Good point. I think you kind of contradicted yourself right there for one thing, and like I agree with her. I think you owe her the raise. That's my opinion. You owed her a month ago.
Well, it should have been coming for the August paycheck.
Okay. Well, whatever you guys wanna do.
Yeah, do it all at once, yeah.
Well, that's what I would do, wait till next year, but
Bringing that up, we need to change a couple other things too, is I've been doing walks on the 27th, I believe you were gone. And by then, you've already turned in your time sheet and showing this work. So, you're falsifying a time sheet because you're saying you worked and you didn't work. Now, and I'm not saying that's the
It's not my
regulation.
fault, we have to turn it in.
Well,
early.
but
That's what he's getting to.
Yeah.
but, and you, and then yesterday afternoon, you guys had to close for a while because you're out doing.
Yeah. I had a
Were
meeting.
you on foot? Because the vehicle was here when I came.
No, I went to a meeting.
Oh, in your own vehicle,
Yep.
okay. I just seen the vehicle here and I seen you were closed out on
Yep.
the road, so I was just kind of wondering why the
Yeah.
vehicle was here and your guys' vehicles were gone. But anyway, back to this 27th. The county gets paid up to the 24th, correct? What? That's the cutoff date. That should be the same way for the courthouse because they cannot turn in their timesheet properly without signing off on it as working through the end of the month when they haven't worked through the end of the month. So we're asking them every month to falsify their documents. So I believe we need to change our pay schedule along with the shops to the cutoff is the 24th so that they get paid and they have time to go through that. Otherwise, we're not properly taking care of this problem. The other thing that I
Which the
suggest,
24th was the Monday we had to turn our stuff in.
Yeah, the cutoff should be the 23rd.
well,
But technically,
whatever,
where
okay.
I'm salaried, I guess, in a way, I turn in my timesheet as a,
Well, yeah, but you're still, okay, that's going to the next thing. Is right now, we do not have any documentation when people take vacation, sick, or comp, or flex time. They should all have to turn in a leave slip ahead of time with either their supervisor's signature and their signature on it, authorizing the auditor to take away their sick or vacation time.
we put that on
What?
our timesheets.
But you haven't signed an authorization for us to do that. And then again, you didn't do it on you haven't come in and done anything for the 27th
I
to change
didn't know
that.
they could change it.
Well, I mean, so you just got a day of pay and you took what off? Vacation, sick, leave? So then at the end of the years, you don't take those time off, so then we're paying you vacation time that you actually took, but you didn't write down on your timesheet.
If that happens to me, I just tell Carla that, you know, like, change it to a vacation day or a sick leave day or something.
But still, they should get a signed sheet from their supervisor that they can have that leave day off.
But she's the supervisor.
Jerry is the supervisor out there, and this is for everybody, not just her. This is gonna be for everybody. Because Otherwise,
But
you,
that's what our timesheets are, that when they sign them, they state that they're true and
that they're true and correct on yours. But they
Did I
still,
hear
they
that?
should still have authorization from the superintendent to have those leave days off. And to know when they're gonna have them off.
they,
How do you know when
yes,
you're gonna get sick?
it happens very
Well, sick is
rarely.
a little different. But
Yeah.
not
Well,
for
and I
leave
knew
times
ahead of
and
time
stuff.
that when sister would get sick, call for help, be taken to Rapid City, and maybe sometime this week we'll be brought back here for a nursing home, plus, we had to totally clean out her house.
Yeah.
But I'm supposed to know that ahead of
And
time.
that wasn't on the 27th.
Do you wanna bet?
Yeah, because I was just down there and visited with her Saturday.
And I don't know how you visited her Saturday. She
Not
was
this, well, she went up there this last
on
week.
the 27th.
I thought you were at a meeting.
No, that was
Yesterday.
yesterday.
That was yesterday, oh.
Well, regardless,
Yeah.
is we're not getting proper paperwork to do that. I mean, regardless of whether you still got falsified documents in there, whether it's your fault or the county's fault or whoever's fault, we need to straighten it out. I say that we change the pay schedule to the same as the county shop. And again, that supervisors have to have a signed leave request for their employees.
How do you guys feel, people in the courthouse feel about going to the 23rd as your cutoff?
Well, like I said, the 24th was our cutoff. We had to have things turned on by the 24th. Was the day we had to have our time sheet. I
But
didn't
they
know
haven't
things were gonna
filled
come up
out,
on
but
Thursday.
you haven't filled out for the end of the month. So you're filling out for a whole nother week.
And that's what they're asking us to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, that ain't right. You can't do it that way. Cause you're asking them to fill out for a week that they haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, they don't know if something
Right.
will come up.
So we gotta change the schedule to be cut off on the 23rd, just
I
like
kind of feel
this.
like you're not trusting that we're not trustworthy or we're not honest enough to say that this is, there's gonna change since we filled this out ahead of time.
She just said she didn't, and she didn't have to,
How
it
do you
wasn't
know
our
she's not
problem.
going to though?
It's already out,
It's the 1st of September.
right? Yeah,
She's got time next month to correct it.
no, it was for last month.
The only thing that'd fix it is a computer login. Log in and log out.
Okay,
Yeah.
take the 27th
I
out.
had to go, yeah.
You can change it
Time cards.
next month.
What's
Just
the
say I'm
punch
taking,
So the time card.
Last month, huh?
A time
Twenty
sheet or
seventh,
time
last
login.
month,
or
Right here.
whatever,
Haakon.
whatever you.
Why not
Would you have to have one at the county then too, the shop?
No.
But you're still
That's
guesstimating.
whatever you want.
What
Say
you're
3 to
guessing.
5
The only
days.
thing, what about the people though that,
If your cutoff is the
Your
23rd,
cutoff,
Roy,
then you
who
would
never
pick
comes
the
in.
next-
Right.
the next
Huh?
month.
that way you're not falsifying your
You
copy.
bet,
Tired of all
yeah,
this.
yeah.
a lot of those guys never come into the shop, you know?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's
I mean,
a,
but what I'm saying is if you cut off on the 23rd,
Right.
you're gonna.
It's gonna be the
only
same
thing
pay.
Is at the end of the year, in December, there's gonna be those days that won't be on 2000, yeah, but your paycheck will be, paid at the paycheck.
Needs to get back to their wage thing.
So the first correction you have three.
See, and I don't remember,
Get
but
off of this.
we got paid twice a
I
week.
mean, we're gonna act on
and you have something.
It is confusing though, if you read the audit record.
It is, but I still,
It is confusing, I misread it, I guess.
I still feel.
I would just say, Mike, if you have a.
We need to change it or something, I don't know.
There you go.
We're talking about a dollar, you know, maybe it is.
But the item we're actually on is the step raise for the deputy
Yep.
DOE.
Thanks for spitting it out for me, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Let's go back to the step raise, Mike. And we want action. Steve said he felt that the step raise was there. What are you saying? You know,
I agree. I think it should be changed
I
too.
think
Somebody's gonna make a motion.
I think one way or the other, either we delete the bottom or add it.
They don't make minutes.
Well, do we have a motion for the step raise?
So do we need to change this first?
No,
No?
that's, you gotta live by that anyway up to this date. Until you change it.
And the resolution allows, the standing resolution allows.
I make a motion. I'll make the motion that we give her a step raise.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Second? I guess motion dies for lack of second.
Do you want to try to change the wording on it or just leave it on the resolution?
You're entertaining the motion?
Well, I think we need to discuss what needs changed. You know, if you think we need to change something, the wording, I mean, of it. Take that one line out.
I think work on it, get your resolution how you want it to read, then bring it back and we'll motion to approve it.
So, you want it on the agenda for next month?
Okay. Okay, the other, last thing did I miss, or did you guys, did I get reimbursed for the measurer?
It's in the work.
Okay. All right, that was the last thing I had.
Your measure, is it a wheel or is it,
No, it's.
that handheld? Laser.
So you gonna stop in and finish the vacation time or something on the 27th?
Sure,
Okay,
I'll
thank
make
you.
sure to do that.
Please do.
You might change it to sick leave.
That's fine. Just so it's not regular pay.
I think we're almost done with the highway department, are we? Unless Chris is gonna come in, huh?
That motion for the warrant for April.
I so move.
So there's a second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the warrants. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Do you have much else, Carla, for the highway?
Nope. Other than budget, approve it or change it, whatever you want to do. How much time that's running.
Which one you wanna do first? Resolution.
Was that, that's it?
Oh, we'll put that on next month.
Isn't that the one we're gonna?
Oh, that, thank you. Sorry, I was really focusing on the resolutions.
I'm not calling them.
Do that.
What's that? Yeah, just a second. You can come up. We're just gonna make a resolution on the budget. It's more comfy up here anyway.
You're talking about right here, Nick, right? Up on the number one, is that what we're talking about doing? This one? Is this what we're doing? Not this, right? This is a totally different thing.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, I have an appointment.
We'll see you. I don't have that sheet in front of me, Nick. So you guys don't?
I think I had it.
I don't think I've got this budget resolution thing.
I think it's,
I had it.
I think there was,
Maybe I threw it away. There, you got it, but I can't find that.
It was down towards the bottom.
yeah, I had one.
Maybe it's. I still can't find it, Tom.
I don't see it.
I've been trying making that
There you
clear.
go.
Try working on that thing.
Finally, found it at the bottom.
I looked at that and
Maybe.
talked to Carla about
But
it.
I do want to suggest
she
all the
had
doors
to put the other
opening.
figures in.
I don't know if
Get the
That
state
way
will
it's-
accept it.
everything else is open. Do that when everybody's here, just so you're not surprised.
I think we had a mutiny.
Huh?
I think we had a mutiny. There's 3 of us left.
Everybody left, huh? Dang.
I think I was wanting to leave first.
Maybe we should start having to make everybody sign out to Tom, the commissioner of the neighborhood.
I was thinking about letting you take over there, yeah.
No, just kidding. Huh? I know paperwork. Paperwork is crazy.
I have never seen nothing like this.
So, did your boat start every time?
The boat started. The shifting is still a little of an issue. I haven't quite got that figured out yet.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
I'm pretty sure you have to. You've whispered to her, so I don't think you should be very upset. I mean, basically the same thing.
Talked to her in the office. But I went and talked to her.
Is everything okay here, Tom?
According to Carla, all 3 of them. You know what? It didn't make a lot of sense, but she pointed it out to me and it did.
If you want my picture, Mike, you can ask.
I got it.
I know that. Go ahead and take another one.
I
You
got
got
the one, I
permission
got
now.
the one I want.
You've got permission now.
I got the one I want.
And to think somebody volunteers to do this job.
That you get to do it on Tuesdays.
Good for him.
So you guys we need to talk about this before we sign off on it?
So we gotta approve or, yeah, this is the final approval of the budget.
Is everybody all right with it? Your Tom sounds like he's all right with it.
I think I'm getting good with it. Yeah, I think
Done one. Last time
we dumped the excavator. We had 2 mowers and 1 truck or 2 trucks and a pickup, right?
it was one.
1. I'd have to look at my notes, but
I guess it depends on.
there's
how
a
you-
budget there and however much.
Yeah,
it's
how much
spent,
you wanna
kinda
spend
move
on what
around.
things, yeah, you move it however you want to.
But I think it's really important to get the heavy enough frame and suspension, because I think we've kind of, every time a guy says that, if it's not big enough or right, it's hard to walk away when you finally see a nice truck, but
Front wheel bearing went out the other day. You can't buy a wheel bearing, it's old damn motor, $1,900
on these new trucks,
on international.
oh, tractor, okay.
And then they said you're not gonna be able to get them very long.
Then what?
Chunk it out and see if you can find an axle or something, I don't know. I couldn't believe it, we pulled that off there. Well, hell, that's, they don't have oil bearings like everything. I don't know why it's still bearing, I wondered what the hell the deal was. It's one piece bearing, pulls it up, and you can't pick it up, put it on.
sure.
Grease it. You got to tear apart to grease it.
Sealed. There's a good. It's an oil. Got oil in it. It's just like the new cars.
So, somebody said, well, did you heard I'm looking, said $1,900.
Yeah, it depends if you're gonna keep it, how long you're gonna keep it.
So you guys probably wouldn't get nothing trade in. I suppose you'd best off just to auction it off somehow.
It's one of the dump.
No, it's international tractor.
Oh, it's on the, okay, I was thinking it was on the, okay.
So what year is it?
Is that 70s? It's newer, I think.
Was it 786?
2001?
Oh, Jesus.
Are you talking about the truck? Yeah. 2001.
Oh, it's faded.
Oh, so it's international straight truck. Or it's a,
Is that a 9400 or 9200? Mine are all math. I got an 895.
I know I have it.
What year?
95.
Really?
Mine's 9400.
It is a 9400, I don't know.
old one, crazy. The old 78 Max still goes. Not very good, but still goes. They put one piston in it 25 years ago.
So darn
Do you remember
quiet, I had
do you remember how much money we left in his budget for machinery? Was it 150?
We'd have to look.
Was it
You tell
150?
about the blade.
I wish I can't remember now.
Did you say you had a transfer?
Does Steve have a copy of it?
A new one.
Oh, it's the new one. I guess I could've looked at that.
No, we didn't get a new one.
What about our
I'm curious to see what we did. I can't.
transmission is?
Oh, what did you find out on that?
Well, they get a hold of me today last week. Thought they just did a differential.
That might be better.
You're just gonna go and leave her instead of anything migrated into the transmission. Just stay there. It's,
See, one guy has troubles cleaning his air filter and putting def in. Is that right? Putting def in.
Did you read that on the?
I did.
on
Bill, in that new road grader. Is that what I was in? I didn't.
the, the brand new ones?
Right. They come out and seen that it needed a new air filter and the def alarm needs to be kept filled or something. Maintenance needs to be done on it.
just run out of definitely.
Yeah. So they said they talked to the operator and told him to do it, and they said they would, but it's kind of embarrassing to have that in the. Oh. Oh.
Well, he just, it was
Yeah.
in the description of
150,000.
the bill, and when they came, whoever that mechanic from Butler was like,
917 or I just skimmed over it.
Maybe you need to look at the bill and see it, if she said it's described in there too.
$912.
the machine.
Yeah.
That's 912,
Yeah, so troubleshoot the SVC, TVC, management info codes. Machine needs fault code, troubleshoot machine. Repaired, correction, troubleshoot codes, and found multiple codes for low def tank and plugged air engine filter.
those engine filters, if they're anything like the newer tractors, they're horrible. I mean, you about half a day baling, you gotta blow your clear out. They don't have nothing in them. A few specks come out of it.
Jerry told us not to blow them out, so you get an alarm.
I heard that
They
too.
do a better job of cleaning when they're dirty than they do when
Oh, really?
they're
I remember him saying it.
Huh.
I said, huh? Yeah, I said, seriously, all that dirt, more filter.
Wow.
I think you would start it for air.
So maybe that was incorrect.
Very good doing it at night.
Maybe they'd get alarm,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, usually do
It what?
It normally does.
Oh.
Usually you just cut your power till you got nothing.
Oh,
Idling around.
Right, when it's doing its regen.
No, if you're running a jet.
Oh,
I don't know what shit.
I don't know how it all works. I don't have nothing newer than an 04.
Hopefully they delete it all. We're talking about it.
Are they?
But then, that'll cost you to get it deleted. You gotta reset your whole computer and everything.
Your warranty good after that? If you delete it?
Well, I
If they do it, I would hope so.
don't think so.
Oh, make sure it's good before you do it.
Small people, California,
He went that. He went this way.
because they got too much ammonia in the air now out there.
Hmm.
Oh, really?
It comes from the dam.
Oh, sure.
It's good for 'em.
My eyes are watering. Ugh.
Captain had it down the road, just told you
Good dang.
How'd you turn out at almonds?
that. It's gone out this week, and they got that big rain up there.
Did they get some rain up there?
No, they don't.
Oh, I haven't been up there since last week.
That much rain.
What we doing?
There's some crops, like orchards, and then it's almonds, sunflowers.
He said TJ Diggle's pasture looks like it's plowed.
We were traveling and heard that Hayes had 100-mile-an-hour wind.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, you know, I think we had close to that for about a minute the other night. Oh my God, I never heard our house make that kind of noise.
I mean, either. That's bad.
There is a 70-mile-an-hour
I like
wind
my
here
house.
once.
I like my house looking a little out of grade foundation.
You know, maybe 50, maybe.
I heard my grandbaby was gonna go over the hill.
Pick him up in the next draw.
Or leave them.
They took a minute of it.
Yeah, good thing it didn't last any longer.
They fall.
I was waving bye-bye at them.
Still there.
And hired Tom back. He told him, you're gonna stay through the year. I'm not gonna have your equipment in 2 weeks, because they called you back to construction, no, he said. This is his last chance.
What did he do last time? I can't remember. Did he?
To approve hiring an out.
Did he start over at $15 every time?
No. You don't draw any benefits.
So we're losing three more this, three up. Cause, what's his face?
So we got Wyatt and
Wyatt quit, that's his name's retiring,
Dwayne.
and then Jerry's retiring.
What?
I'm almost in my 2-year mark.
I thought you stayed forward.
Yeah.
you have to find a replacement.
He said that if you want him to train someone, he wants to know if you want to get advertised soon,
Is he done in December? After December?
That's when I'd like to, 2 years is the first February.
22.
almost had that unrecorded. It's almost binding.
Do you have anybody in house that could do it?
I don't know if anybody's interested. I know they're interested. So,
John Lamb works out, I think he could. He tells me I'm saying out and going back to jail. He's a pretty good hand.
So you done any dirt work before?
Oh, yeah. He's probably pretty good, I do.
He worked for Ramsey's, didn't he, for a little while?
I work for them. He's run by their track. A lot of trucks.
Drives all right.
I rode with him one day. Damn, I wish everybody could sit like you do.
How old is he?
52.
52.
See that old? Makes me old now.
I know.
We are.
You are.
We're the same age,
Youngsters, yeah.
Out where?
well, I don't feel like it.
See, you could put his couple more years.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to talk about next couple of years.
Guys like you,
Who's that, Val?
Steve Belcher.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We interviewed him.
Yeah, I think he wanted quite a bit more money though. He did. I talked to him. Yeah, I talked to him and he wasn't interested when he asked what it paid.
I have to
He used to
one
take
day.
a lot.
Oh, I know.
I have to go one day. All I'm gonna tell you, I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, I visited with him after that.
But really, he doesn't have any experience.
Yeah.
Something to look at this next month or so,
So
huh?
you want to wait a month to advertise?
Yeah, since he's not in until February.
But it'll probably take a while.
I'd like to pay somebody.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of a head start.
The roads are looking, I think the roads look pretty good.
And I've got a lot of compliments.
I get the other calls.
Him call about like that about to me. I just tell him about it. Call chairman.
Well, I just
So that person.
can't talk enough here, I'd say something.
That's the first that we go.
Nobody plumb riled about anything, just making me aware.
Hey, like, yeah, call me today. I need to go drive some food.
You know, and gee, I tell them, if you don't tell me, I don't know anything.
I mean, there's some rough roads right now, but it's due to the dryness. I mean, you can't do nothing with them. I mean, they're starting to push it over and putting windrows up, trying to keep it
Yeah,
from.
that's harder than rock out there too.
Oh, I know. Until it gets a little rain on it, as long as I don't get snow and blow all that gravel back off the road.
We could talk about when we want to advertise. Discuss it a little bit. I don't know. Are you gonna wait to tell the other guys? You already told the other guys too?
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's broadcast.
What if you change your mind?
You do. I don't know. I told Gary I ain't done a document there for 2 years.
I don't remember that.
Well, yeah, but 2 years ago until February.
Yeah, I said I could stay that long.
Okay.
So do we want it on next month's agenda?
Yeah, you didn't say you wanted to. You said
Well, I guess we could.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I guess we could.
Just gonna feel up the winter a little bit, see how it is, decide then.
Yeah.
If it's really bad around.
Yeah,
Starts flooding in February, I'm done.
definitely. Got one more big culvert put in this down here. That's what they've done to it in.
Oh, Peterson's.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to put an ad in. We already got one for county workers anyway.
It should be expiring. It'd have to be specific to.
Well, I mean, his would be, but I mean, we still should have one in for county workers.
We do, but we're at our quota right now.
Yeah, but Dwayne gonna retire pretty well.
That's already done.
Why?
But
He quit you?
Who quit?
Watco.
Oh, yeah. I think he was getting a little disinterested in the job.
Well, he did too much surfing on the internet and found this job he could make $10,000 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, really?
Good luck.
Did you believe everything?
Is it
I
going
did.
to Mexico or what?
Especially Facebook. Facebook's the place to go for info.
I met two of the guys yesterday, but I don't know. I didn't ask them which one was which. Both of them were new.
So this Tom Brother.
Yeah, I suppose you guys gonna have to start figuring out something.
I bet if you come, I only one to come out there.
I think we should probably advertise next month, maybe, or something.
It isn't gonna hurt. It's gonna look for a month anyway, and then it's gonna get it down to this is November.
I thought by not being to be ready to cut out there, but the boss is taking in there pretty strong.
Calling. Just check.
He'd be good.
Really good.
Plus he's from here. His family here.
That might be the negative part.
And our gravel on Dusty Ridge Road. 1.5 truck.
Where's the Dusty Ridge Road? Across from Gary?
That's Gary's.
What about the one north of there? That goes past Poland's, what's that one like?
I think it is.
Summer Road.
East fast, but, or you mean the summer road?
No, well, both or whatever, the one going east past the
And
Poland's.
about the east half of that,
You kind of pulled that up too, didn't you?
one side.
One side kind of cleaned it up.
Like this.
Didn't you kind of gravel it down there where Fred Fulham lives? Didn't you gravel in there some?
The old Neater water
A
place.
couple of years ago, there is.
No, no.
Right before Jerry got on there, I think he did.
say, Janet, did you talk to that highway superintendent?
Oh, yeah, you said you did.
Family
He
county?
said he'd, we got up there and went there.
He said he'd what?
Come up there when I was up there, when we started.
Oh, yeah, that's what you said.
Up at Olman's? Or at, not Almonds, yeah, I'm sorry. Olman, again, Olman and Almonds mixed up here.
I've forgotten about Omen.
Yeah, Wilbur Olman.
No, I've forgotten.
Yeah, you were
I still call that the Olman place.
What's that?
The one down in the big place, the Diamond Ring. I still call it.
Jerry, did we ever do anything on that river road down there that was, what was that, Smith's or something down there?
Oh,
That
yeah.
head was washed real bad. He could,
And he didn't like that. So we got up his right away, he said, well, you can't go down through that slide, I said. They did that once, but anyway.
Yeah.
Where's this at, Jerry?
Oh, up there on Dean Clark's, or well, it went down to where Murdoch and,
Pelican this?
Pelican used to live.
Yeah, fixed it the same way again, shouldn't have.
Put some walking area down in there. Remember they wanted to close
Yeah.
that road for years.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
You ought to do that, but I've never said that.
Somehow I got my email address. So somebody got my email address.
He did? Okay.
You sent me one
Lee Smith, is that who we're talking about? Harley Smith. Harley Smith, I guess his real name
I
is.
think when they tried to call me, I gave him the other Mike's number.
So you have any other good news?
Doesn't really know anybody try to get them to work kind of like that motor, just for getting rid of your window.
So the dryer's better?
Well, the windrows it is.
Yeah, then.
Windrow leads.
So it's worth keeping, huh?
I would say it is.
It's almost better just leave it clear up where you're not touching the road. Just, right? Doesn't it seem like just barely skimming the road?
To chop.
And you can only go so fast until you get the.
Right.
It's a really good washboard maker.
I bet.
And when they brought it down there, our road down there was dry, and he went through it, looked like he was going in road gear when he went through it, that thing. And when Matt come out and done it the other day, they did a real nice job of getting cut down in that washboard. Stuff was finally wet enough they could get the tops cut off of that.
It works pretty good on my place, but it won't go very hard.
Right, because the teeth are only that long, aren't they?
So, how fast can you run with it then, Jerry?
3 to 4 mile an hour.
it'll stall out on it if you're trying to take the more sports out.
It's pretty cutting very hard. It'll take them off, though.
Just gotta slow way up.
Yeah, just not push down on it. But it's hard to tell because you can't see the damn thing down the wheels.
You can't see it.
When you hear it starting to whine, you know you get it back off.
So we'll get hot.
Yeah, it's got its own cooler, but it will make it a hot day. It'll make the hydraulics hot. There's a lot of oil moving there. I've never seen it get in the red, but that'll get up there, you know. Well, it seems like there's something else.
You got it right.
I can't read it when I do.
Just call them.
I write a phone number down. I gotta look at it again and see if I can read it the second time. Terrible.
Well, I can't because I know what it said right away.
That's what I thought I said.
So is there anything news about the gravel crushing? They all done? Quite a while. It turned out all right, the gravel deal?
They're all in that, it's better than I thought.
Good.
It ain't bad, it's pretty fine. And it was bone dry when you put it up, I couldn't believe it. There's a little moisture in it.
Huh.
They had a couple good rains down there.
Yeah, but they shouldn't went through it like that. I mean, it ain't wet,
Right.
but it's, damn, now it's just hot. That's what happens when you got 500 dirt on
Right.
Right. No subsoil. Moisture.
It's kind of fun when we went out there when they crushed.
Everybody get their contract signed.
Nick and I went out there, golly, it was right on top of the ground.
Oh, I know, I was gonna ask you about Mickey. Carla.
Yeah, that finger ran out there quite a ways.
Cool. Well, Carla, will Mickey's check go out now then?
I just tell them that they're looking at it expires in 3 days if they don't get it.
I think I stamped it.
What? Well, still, I thought it was.
It was in there, I can't remember either.
Carla.
I was
I
still gonna cancel his.
I think I stamped it. I think.
I didn't realize.
Okay, well, you should get it then now.
He's haven't signed their contract yet, so. And Billy signed his, but he talked about a portion of it.
Yeah,
As long as you're all right with it.
I just asked a man to stop by on the way from work.
So we did what we did 20 at Mickey's, we did
He's not.
20 at Taurus's, and then 20 at Ramsey's.
I think so.
Not home.
Is that right?
She was gonna try to
think
get a
that's
hold
right.
of him to let him know to come in. so we could
60,000
write the
total?
check.
I think so.
I heard her not.
300,000, you only spent 200. I don't know.
I heard that.
That'd be about right though.
They crushed 20,000 in each pit then. No, it's usually about 100,000 a pit.
So the one at Ramsey's, is that the one that's all by itself out there west of their place? Or, yeah, west of the place?
That small pile.
That small one? West of the main place?
Two new ones right there, ours and the bigger one. On the west end of that pit. There's somewhere farther west.
Oh, there is another pile. I saw that pile way west. That's somebody else's.
That one way west is ours.
Okay.
The new one's east of the house, or?
Well, the new one's northwest of that.
Yeah.
So is that where he traded you?
There's so many piles over there, I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot of piles.
A mine, gold mine out there. Crazy.
One thing like that, got heal up real good, wouldn't it? Sure. Just about.
Well,
I don't like where the pile is, didn't have any choice.
So have you had a chance to look at Woman's gravel? You probably haven't got that far yet. Does it look okay?
how big?
Oh, there's fines on top and then there's pit run down below, and I don't see any big rocks.
Is his road kind of dirt?
No.
So the fines won't help a lot? Or
So that's what he said, he's got in his yard with some fines. It's good there.
It just needs built up a little bit and some culverts put in. That's the biggest deal.
We got one
One culvert.
this
Right at
western
the-
county line.
Yeah.
There's waters down
serves him right,
there.
right
When I was gonna go up there, I got the old down there and walked around, I thought it was kinda squishy, I don't think I'm gonna get back up. I did that much too long.
Yeah, it was pretty dry before that though. It wasn't too bad.
Steve, what did you ever find out the amount?
Jerry Nelson's.
That we gave for the budget?
150.
Was there?
It's not technical.
It's Jerry Nelson's son.
Yes.
No. That road in there for Katie and Merritt Carpenter? Is that what you're talking
Oh,
about?
Jerry's son.
Travis?
He lives in there in Emerson
No, that's Katie and Merritt
place. I thought
Carpenter.
that was his son.
Daughter.
His daughter?
Did he live in there a while?
Jerry?
No, Travis.
Oh, I don't know.
See, I thought he lived there, but no, it's who Steve says his sister.
Mike lived in there for a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, after he left, they sold the house.
Travis bought a little place out in Montana.
Yeah. Yep. Mary was saying
Seen him at Jerry's one day, and I thought he looked like a Nelson, maybe he was on.
Yeah. He was around there last spring, but he pulled out the summer and went
What-
back.
what's his first name?
Travis.
Katie's.
No, her, Katie's is.
Oh,
Katie's husband?
Yeah.
Merritt Carpenter.
Merritt. Okay, Merritt, he said.
He fences.
Kind of a handyman, isn't he? Maybe do some carpentering too.
I don't know.
Well, Jake is.
Jacob Guerin. He was a carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry's one about gravel line. Give it a last spring.
I guess back to something that Jerry said earlier, that I'd make a motion to hire Tom Grimes back, since we've got to do it when he's out of county. Get that off the record.
There'd be a second?
1 second. With a guarantee he works 2 years.
Motion's been made and seconded on the hire.
He done it that outfit when they moved to Ballet River. After the crew, they went back to it. Just split up on smaller projects.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. You're in business.
Do you need a motion to put in for applications too, for superintendent? Are you sure? How about now? I guess I'd motion to keep the applications running for county superintendent.
Advertise.
It might be.
What?
Is there a second?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, no. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Motion carried. I really didn't like that one.
With reservation.
I like the job.
So
We like the job you've done.
So what's the actual problem then?
Too old.
Well, that's just between the ears. Get over it.
We gotta get over that nice little hump. If you would have forgot he come to work yesterday and just keep coming every day.
I can't keep my own stuff anymore.
Homeland.
This could save a guy's marriage, couldn't it?
We're doomed.
Right. Well, this job here doesn't help mine very much.
My secret, Jerry, is Marie's gone in the week and I'm around, and on the weekends I try to be gone. The longer we're apart, the longer we're staying married.
I thought it was a little technical about when I quit the mine, but
Yeah.
everything went all right. Tougher than I thought.
It's a good way to test them.
Well, thanks for all your,
Yeah.
what you do, Jerry.
And I told you that, and I was kind of irritated of the way things were.
Yeah, hopefully maybe Jacob will retire someday. Never know. He worked with, and you were there?
Yeah, I worked with him for 3 or 4 years.
Who's that?
Jacob Ocean.
Yeah, he's one of the best they had there.
I was working there too.
You know, but they bladed my road twice. I told Jacob, please go up and fix my goddamn cattle garden before you could just fly across it. And at 10 mile an hour, you'd hit your head on the ceiling. After 2 guys took a run at it. He went up there in 5 minutes, and it was just like it wasn't for.
Huh. Nice.
How was it now?
Good.
Was it me?
Good, no, that is.
Yeah, I do. I know the two.
You guys must have been there in '96, weren't you? Was that real bad winter? You guys were both there. That really bad snow removal.
I just missed
Because I
that.
remember Jake was there then. That was tough.
I started in 98. I just missed it. Yep.
Would you explain that a little bit? But
I remember those guys during the hired cat and we go let snow up north.
Yeah.
That was bad.
No. Appreciate it, Jerry.
I remember. See you, Jerry.
We haven't done that yet, have we?
What?
Thanks, Jerry. I was ready to throw in the towel. Yeah, we still got see. Everybody looked through that budget deal. Pretty happy with it.
I had Carla kind of explain it to me.
I think the levies actually are a bit lower than last year. Yeah, last year it was your total levy was 2.390, and this year, at these figures, it will be 2.341.
So it's close.
Yeah, very close.
You guys okay with it down there? I'm all right with it.
What was last year, or this year?
This year, 2.341.
Well, you need a motion? You need a motion to approve this?
That's your copy of it. You can sign
Just like to look at my signature. Kind of like I like to hear myself speak.
You're okay with this, huh?
Yeah.
Want me to make a motion? I'll make a motion to approve it. The annual budget for 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Any discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. Put our stamp on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And you get to meet on October 6th.
I need you to sign the top line.
Okay. Want my credit card number too?
I'm gonna do the special meeting for
21st at noon. Guess it doesn't matter.
Shouldn't take us but just a minute to okay that resolution, right? Shouldn't take but 1 minute.
We'll just do it right after it. Be like two hours to 3 o'clock.
Either way, okay.
On the 21st?
Yeah.
That way, let's take it off at 12:30 or whatever. Just in case there's more discussion. No, 3 o'clock for the special meeting. Then 1 o'clock we'll do that class thing. She said it didn't have to be consistent. I think it does.
The only thing would be that meeting would run super short or something. Would we have to stick around till 3 to start?
Because it's gotta be publicized.
So that puts it at, maybe we should,
Well, if you started at 1 o'clock, had the meeting, training as a meeting, then whenever the training got over, you could take care of the rest of your business. It doesn't-
Yeah,
that works. That works. I'll take off any earlier than noon. Thank you. And a reminder email might not be a bad thing. You guys always send out agendas, so.
Yeah, thank you. Well, any more business, guys?
No?
Charlie, you got anything? Could move to,
I did tell you that, well, we talked about change, Billy sent his contract with changes. And, Mickey had already signed it, so they are, hopefully taken care of.
well, don't let me rush you either.
Everything's crossed off.
No, I'd move to adjourn.